I have a little more time.
We're going.
Okay.
Hi,
Welcome.
America.
Right.
Welcome to Angel and the Wiz.
Right. Welcome to the new campaign, Wizard for President 2016.
Vote the Wiz.
Vote the Wiz. I'd rather have Sarah Palin, but until she's running, I'm running. And we said last week, I'm going to be focusing in on things that are good for America. We're not going by outside. My friend Fred Valdez used to call these bodysuits, okay? I don't care what color you are, it's irrelevant. I don't care what language you speak, that's irrelevant. You want, and you know why? Not to know why? Because most everybody wants the same thing. Do you know what most people just want to have is a nice life? Maybe they'd like to have a car or a home or an apartment. Most people want to have a significant
other. I'd like
other.
owe the government $3,000.
Right. You know, most people have a significant other. Some people have children.
I'd like one of those too.
Most, you know, I mean, I'm just saying. No, I'm just saying.
Children, no, not so much.
Okay, but I'm just saying, most people have very general, specific, and similar wants. Most people would like to have a decent income, okay? And I do not believe in rich and poor. There's no middle class, lower class, and upper class. Those are European things. We are Americans. It don't matter what you make. It's what's in your heart, okay? Because the reason we lead the world in everything is because we've relied on the talents of individual people. And we haven't told them what their talents are. We haven't dictated to them. We haven't said, we're all the same. We all got to have the same outcome. Nonsense. You want to know why? The guy that works the hardest should make the most money. And if he makes lots and lots and lots, what does that tell you if you don't have money? If you work hard, if you find some unique thing that you can offer, you could be rich too. All of this nonsense about the 1% or the 2%, those people pay the taxes in this country, kids. That's a fact of life. And God bless them. These are the generous people. Do you think all these non-profit organizations that run around and do what they claim is all good, do you think they get their money from me? Do you think they get their money from people that make $10, $20, $30, $40,000 a year? No. They get their money from people who make hundreds and millions of dollars. That's where the money comes from, because they can do it. And most of them are very generous. And I'm not a Hollywood hypocrite, where I go out there and I make movies where I kill everybody in the film, and then I come out and I make a PSA that says, you shouldn't have a gun.
I'm going to make you a logo.
Okay. Wiz in 216.
I'm going to make you a logo, and then we're going to have a bumper sticker. And I'm not going to put it on my car because I don't like putting stuff, but I'll put it in my back window.
There you go. Okay, one America built on the individual. There you go. One America built on the individual. And if you come up with a better saying, that's it. But for now, that's what I'm using. And what's the point? The point is you have talents that I don't have. She has talents I don't have. So we don't want to have everybody all mushed together. We want her to use her talents, me to use mine, you to use yours. And then the better you do your talent, the better it is for the whole country. In Europe and all those other places except America, that ain't how it is. That's why we have innovation here, because we've allowed the human being to try for his own excellence. And as long as you've got things like the EPA and this little agency here and this, in other words, as long as you have people that believe the government gives you everything, America dies. And let me tell you, these clowns that are killing America right now, they could care less. And when I listen to this clown in the White House talk about the rich and the poor, well, have you ever seen how much money he's making? He's rich, okay? He qualifies. But he says he don't care about paying more taxes, okay? Well, you know what? If I had $100 million, I wouldn't care about paying more taxes either. But the lie is that only the rich pay taxes. Do you realize that they just did this whole fiscal cliff thing, and every single person that has payroll income tax taken out is going to pay more taxes? That's you, bud. You little people. You people that he's supposed to be protected.
I don't think you should refer to your constituents as little people.
I'm a little person. I'm a little person too. I'm a nothing. I'm down here. And yet these big guys in Washington are scared to death of a guy like me because I tell you the truth. And they don't deal in the truth. They don't have the cojones to tell you the truth. You know, if Obama just walked out one time and said, I want to be president because I want to be president, because I think I know better than all you people. You know what? Some people would hate his guts, but at least it would be honest. Okay? And we don't get that. And that's a sad thing. So anyway, you never have to worry about me being elected, because it's just not going to happen. But I'll tell you one thing. I'll be a better president than these clowns, because I'm still one of you. Okay? I wouldn't accept the money. I do the job. Okay? You know, these clowns, they serve 2 terms. They get $180,000 a year for life. For what? Usually you got to be vested in something. Usually you got to be there 10 years in a job to have something. I say they should get they should get Social Security like everybody else. They can put their money in their 401k. This clown just took a trip, a vacation that cost this country, you and me and her, $20 million. Now how does he get off doing that kind of crap? And he claims to care about you. He don't care about you. Well, he don't care about you at all.
It probably only costs $20 million because he has to pay for all the Secret Service and all the stuff that comes with, like.
Well, then maybe he shouldn't be flying around in Air Force One and doing all of that crap to go. Maybe he don't have to go to Hawaii. He's got a job he's supposed to be doing. This guy has spent more time on a golf course and on vacation than doing his damn job. And he ain't president anyway. President is Valerie Jarrett. She's the one that's running the country.
Who's
Valerie Jarrett is the woman that is president of the United States. This Obama is just a typical mob frontman. That's all he is.
Who's Valerie Jarrett?
Yeah, see? Who's Val? Do you know she has Secret Service protection? She's his chief of staff. She runs the country. She is the power behind her. She does the job.
All chief of staffs have
No.
protection.
Excuse me. Let me be really careful. I shouldn't say she's chief of staff. I don't know what her official title is, but let me tell you something. She's the one that's running the country. She is president. It is President Valerie Jarrett. It is not President Horatio Hornblower or whatever his name is. He is not the president. This woman runs him. And I'll tell you something. I don't think Valerie's a black person, but she runs the place. And if anybody wants to take the time, this is all documented. You can take the time to find.
Where is it documented at? On the internet?
It's common knowledge news. It's
Okay.
You could look her up. Yes, you could go on the internet if you wanted to look up the structure, find out what her position is, and then if you wanted to read in and do the research on it, you would find out that she is the one that's in charge. When they have a problem, they go up and she read a senator, the Riot Act one time. A big deal senator who'd been around for a long time. He came out of that office shaking. And I'm telling you, anyway, I don't care about that. We don't care about, he's the past. Obama's a lame duck. He's gone. I don't care about him. Harry Reid, old guy. All of these old guys, okay? I'm telling you something. And I'm an old guy.
Can I talk about my sister now?
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes, end of the campaign speech for this week. We have a roller coaster at the end of the show called The Mean Streak. I got it from Cedar Point, Sandusky, Ohio. I was the first person, and to this day, the only person that shows you a ride from the point of view of the ride from beginning to end. No cutaways to look at the people. Ooh, who cares? And I do it for those of you that can't get out, for those of you that may be disabled, you can't go on roller coaster rides and stuff like that. So we're going to close the show this week with the Mean Streak roller coaster, a great wooden roller coaster, and I have the entire ride from beginning to end, and it's really, really great. Okay, now end of my campaign, vote for the Wiz, and keep journalists happy for years. Sorry. So your sister.
My sister, back to my sister. I mentioned her last week, and I was talking about how I felt that she was acting this sort of submission with, you know, so her husband.
Do you think it was her choice? I mean,
I think it is. I think it's her way of telling. I've seen them interact at home. Their relationship is weird.
Okay.
Like.
Hope she's not watching this week.
She doesn't watch the show.
Okay, good.
It's just, I don't know. Like, there's something just weird about it. Whenever they are with family, like, I feel that they become overly affectionate. You know, that PDA type thing.
Right. Public displays of affection.
Yeah, they become overly, like, it's to the point of we're just like, please stop, because it's...
Right, get a room.
Yeah, not even get a room.
Right,
like,
sorry.
please stop, because we're finding it disgusting, like, you know, and I think it's more that they do it to prove to everyone that they still are, we still find each other, you know, in love and attractive. But I'm just like, who cares, you know, like.
But what if it's real?
I don't know.
You don't think it is? Obviously, you don't think it is.
I think that some of it's real. I think that
it's a show.
I think that they love each other.
Right.
I think that they feel that they still have to prove to the family that they love each other and that they're still in love, and I feel that they need to prove to themselves that they can make this marriage work, because the marriage was she got pregnant and then they got married. So yeah, so I feel that they're trying to still prove that stuff. Anyway,
that they would have gotten married even if that hadn't happened.
Right. I just in some aspects I don't think they would have gotten married if that didn't happen. So
that's very often is the case.
Yeah, and there's still complications. Anyway, so I was having a conversation with my sister about raising children and discipline, because she's the mother of my nephew and my niece, and I was just trying to tell her some things, and I just found it odd that the way that she views how our parents raised us and the way I view how our parents raised us as two completely different experiences.
Okay.
You know, like in the moment of being a teenager and breaking the rules and having to deal with the consequences of the actions, I wasn't a fan of my parents. I mean, what teenager is when you have those things?
No, you're not, because you're going through growing up and learning and finding out for yourself, and they're over here saying, "I've done this. It's a mistake." Right,
but I just find it odd that when I asked her why she does something, she made a comment like, "Well, I was never gonna. Mom and Dad made us do this, and I refuse to allow my children to have to deal with such strictness." And I'm thinking, like.
Yeah, you turned out okay, right?
Yeah, and I just.
But I'm not surprised though, because I see that does happen. You know,
two different perspectives from the same family.
Oh yeah, true. How many years difference between you?
1.5.
That's not really long.
Yeah, and it blows me away that I'm like, wow. And so to me, that explains why she does certain things with her children, because she never liked the way she had to deal with something when she was younger, and I'm like. You know, and I just tell her, I'm like, you don't know how grateful, how wonderful our parents were.
Right.
You know, excuse me. You know, like in the heat of being a child and being a teenager and being raised and being told you have to, you have to put everything on your plate. If whatever you put on your plate, you have to eat, unless you're absolutely stuffed, but you can't take 2 bites and say you're stuffed. You know, like rules like that. And my parents had this rule that. You'd be grounded for one day for every minute you were late. And I'm like, that's
late
fair.
For what?
Coming home. Like if they say you have to be home by 10.
Right.
If I couldn't be home, if you couldn't be home by 10, let's say there was an accident on the highway. At the time, cell phones.
They were reasonable.
Yeah, reasonable. The movie ended later than what you thought.
Right.
It was a 7:30 movie.
Right.
It ended at 9:50. Okay, no big deal. So as long as it was reasonable.
Right. And as long as they were flexible enough to give you that flexibility, then
there's
nothing
then it
wrong.
was I would when do you expect to be home? Well, I should be home by 10:45. Okay, so if at 10:46 if I'm not home, I was grounded a day. So and there've been times where I was grounded 6, 7, 8, 10. Oh, I think it was 20 days one time because I just came home late.
Right.
And
Right.
But I'm so grateful.
Yeah, but you learn.
Yeah, and looking back, I'm like, wow, my parents were great. Like, they disciplined us appropriately.
They cared enough about you to help you grow up properly.
Yes.
That's why I laugh at these people that they go flying off the handle because somebody pats their kid on the rump. Listen, we're not talking about
I've spanked my niece and nephew in front of my sister and her husband.
And we are not talking about abuse. We are not talking about physical harm or danger or peril. We're talking about there is an age when children do not understand talking to them, asking them for their opinion. Do you understand what? Pow! Wow, they got it, and they learned. And in most cases, if it's done in a loving way, you only got to do it once or twice. Okay? And they learn something, and they learn that if I do something I'm not supposed to, there are repercussions. If you don't teach it to them when they are young, they are going to find out when they're old. And sometimes what they do when they're older is much, much, much worse.
Yes.
And than anything they could have done as a little. Well, you take that piece of candy, you can't do that, and they take it and you smack their hand. Wow, maybe they even cry. Wow, but guess what? Maybe they don't go out when they're 17 and steal a car, because they found out that there's repercussions. That things happen. Things have consequences. Okay, that's just.
It's all about the parenting that we've talked about.
But we've talked about that because parenting is the single greatest hope in this country. Is parenting. You can't rely on the educational system anymore because right now it's too bogged down. They don't teach. They don't teach economics in high school like they used to. They don't teach government in high school like they used to. So you learned about it because they don't want you to learn about it. If you learn too much, you'll see what they're doing. And then they're going to get caught. So they don't want that. So
I think at some point, though, you have to also admit that the government has gotten extremely complicated.
On purpose. It's gotten extremely complicated so that only some people can run it.
The school I used to work for, there was a government class and you had to take it, and it was required to graduate.
Yeah, and you learn how the government worked.
Yeah, and you learn how the government worked. But I remember talking to the teacher, and he was just like, he goes, there's some. Some of the stuff that's in the textbook, because we're underfunded, you can't always afford updated textbooks. He goes, some of the stuff
and things change quicker
is not relevant. He goes, but it's so the newest version of something that's irrelevant is so much more complicated. He goes, I as the teacher struggle to understand what exactly.
And why, kids? Why do you think they do that? Why do you think Obamacare is 2,700 pages? So nobody knows what's in there. They'll decide what's in there later. Nancy Pelosi had the gall, the arrogance, the absolute arrogance to say you have to pass it to find out what's in it. And I am telling you, I would pass no law. All this stuff everybody promises is going to be up on the internet. You can all look at it, read it. Then they don't want that because they don't want you to know what's going on. And I'm telling you, the reason I will never be elected president is because I will do all that stuff. I will demand that it's done. Okay? And if the Senate doesn't pass a budget for 3 years, that's not going to happen because I'm going to be on TV every day after the day they're late telling people why. You better write to these guys and tell them to do their job, or they're not going to get reelected. But I would also tell those people that were working with me, listen to this, Congress people. I would campaign for anybody on either side that works with me. And what I would tell people if I was running for office and I had a chance of getting in, I would say, you elect me as president, and I'm going to get these people with me, and I'm going to explain to them what we need to do to make this country again, to restore it again, and get it great again. And I'm going to tell everybody in the country, the people that work with me, these are people that should be reelected. And you guys will get to stay in office as long as you want, as long as you work with me and we do the things that need to be done. Okay, and I don't care whether you're Democrat or Republican or independent or what. I wouldn't be afraid to campaign for anybody that works with me.
Vote
I don't
for Wiz
believe
2016.
in this. Vote for Wiz 2016. One America, one individual at a time. That's what this is about. This is a great, great country. It is the best. There's never been freedom like we have. And every time they take more money from you, they're taking some of your freedom. Every time an unelected agency passes a law that you have to live by, you are losing some of your liberties. And I'll tell you that's something else I would stop. Boom. I would put an executive order. I would do whatever I need to do to stop all of these agencies. Nobody issues it. If you're not elected, you pass nothing. You send it to Congress. They'll pass it. And if they don't pass it, then you're out of luck.
I like how we started talking about my sister and you ended up talking about your campaign.
Well, you made me just aware of that.
For hogging all this.
No. Let's go back. No. Let's go back to your sister. I'm happy to talk about your sister.
I don't really have much more to say about her.
I realize that if she ever watches the show, you got to move out of town because she's gonna come.
Whatever.
How's your things going with your guy?
They're good.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I got no rings. It's not gonna happen for a while.
You still moving in?
Yeah, in June. Yes.
Okay.
No, I feel I kind of
big
feel
month
bad
June.
because Huh?
I get my port out in June.
Yeah.
I hope.
But I was sick during Christmas, and the other thing is I started a different birth control pill. Because remember I was saying I was really crazy emotional because my hormones were imbalanced.
Right.
So they gave me a different type of birth control pill, which
does it seem to be working?
Which emotionally is great.
Much better.
It's I noticed a difference. I'm really noticing the difference now. This would be about the time where I get kind of weepy and anyway. But the side effects that they have, which is common when you change hormones like this, you get some side effects.
Right.
I've had the first week I took it, I was nauseous most of the week. Not enough where I didn't. Not enough where I couldn't eat, but just enough to be like
feel it.
To feel it. You eat half of a sandwich and then you're like, I'm done now.
But I can understand that because your body is adjusting to a new medicine.
So week 1 nausea, week 2 migraines.
Okay.
This is now week 3 cramps.
Okay.
So,
great. Just what you need.
Yeah. And my poor boyfriend's like, I don't understand. Your cramps can't be that bad. And I'm like,
he's a guy.
I'm like,
typical guy talk.
I told him, I said, you know how you have gas cramps every now and then? He goes, yeah. So those are kind of painful, right? He goes, yeah, not enough to debilitate me. I said, now stick a knife through your abdomen when you have gas cramps. And he's like, oh. I was like, that's what I feel right now, and I'm walking. And he's like, oh. Right. I said, if you guys, if men felt the pain that women felt every month, they wouldn't function for 3 or 4 days. You guys, you would just be like, oh.
Well, that's true, but we would adjust to it just like you do.
You guys get a cold, and it's like, I can't.
Well, that's because, and I can remember my mother saying,
babies.
My mother said, if the first child was by a man and the second child was by a woman, there'd never be a third. Man would never go through that a second time. Now, and I don't know, and I can only imagine what it's like, and I don't really want to, but I will share with you that, and let me make that point.
I also want to point out that my contraception and my birth control is not free.
You pay for it yourself.
I have to pay for it, and it costs a lot.
Okay, but the fact of the matter is, you do it, and it shouldn't be used to divide the country. It shouldn't be used to buy votes.
I don't like...
These guys are totally immoral. They are totally inept. They are the lowest common denominator. The only difference between them and whale scum is a quarter of an inch.
Here's the 2 big reasons why I tend to vote Democrat, is because mostly their education. Actually, there's one big reason. It's the education. That's really what does it for me. Excuse me. With the Republicans and the Democrats, when they start talking about women's rights, I hate.
But you see, that's a device that the Democrats use to get votes from women. They bring it up and they rub it in your face.
Nobody gets the right to tell me what I can or cannot do with my body.
Sure, I accept that. You have to accept the moral consequences. I can't do anything about that.
The only thing I would say would be the drugs, the cocaine, stuff that can make you dangerous to society should be taken care of. But whether it's abortion or birth control or whatever, because you have, it's my body, okay? And I'll tell you this.
And I'm conservative, but I don't.
Said it best in the vice presidential election. He said, I'm Catholic and I believe in God, but I know that the God I believe in might not be the God that somebody else believes in because of other different religions that are out there, and that we offer freedom of religion. And that was probably one of the big things.
Freedom of religion, not freedom from religion. They have no right. They have no right to tell people that do not believe in abortion that they must provide abortion services for free. That is absolutely wrong. That's against all the Constitution. That's against religious freedom.
Let me tell you this. If whether you believe or do not believe in abortion, that's the other thing. If a woman wants her baby aborted for whatever reason, she's gonna find a way to have it, whether it's offered for free or not.
I understand that.
So that's why it's like you shouldn't. And
that's why I'm trying to say I may be conservative, but I
will correct you on all your women's rights.
Well, you can.
Issues.
Yeah, I think you'll be surprised to find out that we agree on a lot of them.
We probably
because
do.
I'm a conservative, but I have always women have always played a big part in my life.
You know, what, 6 wives?
We don't have to go that far. That's a high number.
Yeah.
Okay, but the point, we're running out of time. Okay, the point that I'm trying to make is that while I'm a conservative, I just don't personally feel I have the right to dictate to somebody else.
No,
I don't think that's right. But I don't think the government should pay for it either. Let them handle it themselves.
It should be a private thing. I don't think the government should. I don't disagree with their morning after pill. That is...
Yeah, but it shouldn't be provided by people that don't believe in it. That's all I'm saying. There's plenty of places you can get it.
Yeah.
Okay? If you want it, you put it on your insurance and you pay for it. We gotta
go.
About 35 seconds left. You know, and
enjoy the roller coaster ride,
because
folks.
I don't believe we should be dictating to anybody stuff like that.
Enjoy the roller coaster ride, folks.
Enjoy the roller coaster rides.
Do something good
One
every
America,
day.
one individual at a
Vote
time.
Vote for the Wiz.
Vote for the Wiz.
And
2016.
volunteer at your local animal shelter.
That's right. Very good. See that? And pets are good. And don't be wrapped up in the bodysuit that somebody wears.
One
be wrapped
America
up in...
built by individuals.
Oh, that's good. One America built by individuals. That's it.
That's what it is. We'll have the new logo next week, folks.